What's going on, YouTube? James Polk here. Just had a wonderful time throughout the whole entire day at the Schwabernhof Regional in the Menominee Falls area of Wisconsin. And I decided to actually play into the side event instead of the main event, knowing that I was over there a tad bit late, and I decided to myself, you know what? Let's go for the side event and see how well I do. So it was a total of 10 to 12 people tops in the side event, and I ended up a third/fourth place finish. And it was literally my second time having a third or fourth place finish. But again, it is what it is, anyways, as I was trying to go for first. And as for the deck to showcase, that'll be Sky Strikers. And before we get to that, earlier today is where I wanted to accomplish my mission by getting myself IP Masquerena, one of the most wanted cards in Chaos Impact of all most wanted cards. So mission accomplished to that one. So I'll go for a little close glimpse of this beautiful, beautiful link. It's like you can clearly see yourself. Man, look at that. Such beautiful. And without further ado, let's get into the deck. So for starters, 3 Sky Striker Ace Ray, 2 Veilers, 2 Ash, 2 Ghost Bell, and Phantom Sky Blaster. Like the hand trap ratios of Veiler, Ash, and Ghost Bells are pretty strong. And originally I was planning on playing Impermanence, but I had to sell it off just to make up some of the money, just so that I can add in the hand traps with ease, like Ash, the Bells, and then the Veilers as well. And all of those 3 hand traps did its job for me. Veilers, it was used once each during my top 8 side event. The part where when Kagari to try to grab back Anchor or Engage, I Veilered so that he wouldn't be able to get the Engage back off from Kagari. And even if he could, I was going to Ash Blossom the Engage anyway, just so that he wouldn't be able to get the search and the draw card out of it. And even if he what's the name? If all else fails for things to go through, I had Anchor as a backup for it. And then Phantom Sky Blaster, that's the MVP card. It did its job to generate tokens and setting up the OTK play. And then 2 Solemn Strikes, it's literally my only trap I have in this main deck. And I always cited these out in time, which is the funniest thing ever. And then the spells: Monster Reborn, Raigeki, Reinforcements of the Army for Ray, Hornet Drones, Widow Anchors, Multi-Roll, and Terraforming. And then 3 Engage. Thank God the deck is still alive. Lucky Engage for that matter. 2 Area 0. And then Afterburner, Jamming Wave, Shark Cannon, Eagle Booster, Hercules Base. And I originally wanted to play 2 Afterburners, but there was literally no space in this deck. It's like I had to manage my resources properly in order to make sure to get this grind game going. And then the Bamboo Sword Engine, broken, 3 cursed. Yeah, 3 cursed and 3 golden. When it comes to the Bamboo Sword Engine, the way how I perfected Lee to play it is that I originally played the Foolish Goods and Metaphor Fusion, but then it made me realize it's never that necessary for me to have it, because seeing the Cursed Swords at least 1 to 2, along with the Engage to open up and either Hornet Drones or Array, that guarantees you major plus. And especially where if you have multi-roll on board, multi-roll sending Curse or Area 0, it guarantees you either special summon Array or from that Area 0. Otherwise, Seeing the multi-roll along with Curse Sword lets you access to the Broken Sword or the Golden Sword if you already have Broken in your hand. And the thing about Cursed Sword as well is that it's not a once per turn on the search as soon as it gets sent to the graveyard. And its other effect is where if you happen to control another copy of Curse or the Broken, you can target it, kick it back to your hand, and that equipped monster can perform a direct attack, which is really, really strong. Especially where if my opponent has a swarm full of monsters, you can just pretty much bypass it with the 2 copies of the swords, bounce one up, and get the direct attack in and do some massive damage with just like a Sky Striker Ace Link monster like Kagari or even something else for that matter. And then what people don't even realize about how good the Bamboo Sword engine is that like if I go second and if I see either Broken or Cursed along with the Golden Swords, you pretty much equip to one of their monsters not being able to realize about the game state is where if I activate at least 1 to 2 Golden Bamboo Swords, by the time my opponent realizes after the second Golden Bamboo Sword resolved, it was pretty much game over for that matter. And then double 2 Sherides, double Call by the Grave, and then limited removal. I actually mained 2 Sherides and 2 Call by the Graves. I originally wanted to do like 3 Sheride and 2 Call by the Grave, or like 2 Sheride and 3 Call by the Grave, but both of these copies came up a lot as a 2/2. And the thing is, like, if I don't have access to the offensive cards to keep my draw power going, you can just pretty much either Shared Ride to help them search so that you can draw cards, or you can just pretty much Call by the Grave just to dish out the hand traps. And then the limited removal, it did its job for the striker girls as machines in the extra. And this has done about once or twice. And then extra deck, the limited Kagari, triple Shizuku, 2 Hayate, and 1 Kaina. 2 Hayates, not 3, because I don't want extra deck spacing. It's like way too tight for that matter. And then because I'm playing Phantom Sky Blaster, 2 Link Spiders, Space Insulator, Flame Administrator, and Deco Tucker. And I'm pretty sure everyone is definitely familiar with the Link Spiders and the Deco Tucker. So first things first about the other Link too. So Flame Administrator takes you 2 Cyberse monsters in general. So basically your 2 Link Spiders is to make them for that matter. All Link monsters you control gain 800 attack, including himself. And you can only control 1 copy of Administrator at a time. And then as for the Space Insulator on the other hand, this is where you super generic link to points up and down. Monsters that this card points to lose 800 attack and defense. And when a Cyberse monster is link summoned to your field while Insulator is in the grave, except the turn he was sent there, you can pretty much special summon him, but cannot be used as a link material, and he gets banished as soon as he leaves the field. That effect just like never comes up for that moment, but that 800 attack drop off is really, really important just so that you can pretty much swing over bigger monsters. And as of the end board, you can pretty much see involving the Administrator and the Deco Talker is Deco Talker in the extra monster zone, pointing to Flame Administrator and to any one of the Sky Striker monsters as a piece of the 2-card OTK process. So Deco Talker will be 41, Administrator with 2000, and then any of the Sky Striker Ace will be ended up around 23. That is 8400 damage. And if you have limiter removal, it pretty much guarantees you a little over 10k damage at that point on. And then when we're doing all of that stuff, like instead of the 2-card OTK hits, so Hita, Ningirsu. So the Hita is where if I expect to see the mirrors, you can pretty much steal the Kagari, get yourself a Sky Striker spell from the grave to the hand as like more resources, and then you can just like pretty much link it into Ningirsu, No Nightmare Unicorn for that matter, just so that instead of just like spinning stuff back to the deck, like don't get me wrong, both Ningirsu and Nightmare Unicorn is great, but I feel like Ningirsu could get the job done at the very most though, because most of the times it's where like if I expect to see Thunder, in which as a late game scenario, I could just pretty much clear out the Colossus without the waste of resources for that matter. And then, oh, and a side note about the Hita as well is that I expected to see Solomon Greats as well, so that way I can steal their Balinxes so that they can't save it. And then just keep on putting pressure to keep the grind game going. And then the Topologic Bomber Dragon. But Topologic Bomber Dragon did its job. And the thing about how Bomber Dragon was used is that, like, first things first, I know that everyone would bash me in the comments for not using Bomber Dragon the right way, but I honestly did not know about its other effect about where if it ever kills a monster, it dishes out the damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack and all that. But my main purpose with Bomber Dragon of how I use it, it's basically, it's okay for the mirror match. And it's also pretty good against like other spam decks. Is where like any given time where they try to spam the boards, you can just pretty much activate the Hornet Drones, Shark Cannon to steal the monster out of the grave, or have the removal cards to pop the area 0 so that you can special array where a bomber is pointing to, and then you can just pretty much explode the main monster zone, whatever. And it's also pretty good with the time procedure. It's where the Bomber Dragon attached to Hercules base, dealing up to 6k damage, which is absolutely insane. And then the side deck. Metaverse, along with Mystic Mine. Metaverse did come up once, and so did Mystic Mine for that matter. Like, keep the Mystic Mine in the deck at all times, because in my top 4 side event match is where my opponent was able to go all out until battle phase happened, is where I go Metaverse, getting the Mystic Mine, and he's unable to pretty much unable to attack or trigger their effects. It doesn't care where. 3 Spear Modes, 3 Electrovirus. And Electrovirus is sometimes good on Cyber Dragons, ABCs, or even dinosaur matchups, specifically Doka or Lagia for that matter. But the main issue is the Sky Striker mirror match. The moment you see your opponent's Shizuku, it's basically where you pretty much take their Shizuku, link theirs away to go into your own Sky Striker link that's not Shizuku, making their Ray's graveyard effects becomes pretty useless and completely dead. And what's good about E-Virus as well is that it's not a once per turn, and you can still attack with a stolen monster, which is you can discard this to target one machine or dragon type monster your opponent controls, take control of it. And then 3 enemy controllers. I originally wanted to play Mind Control in the main deck as well, but at the same time, I couldn't find Mind Controls in due time before the side event tournament started. 2 Twin Twister, great removal, and 2 Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell. Main full purpose is the mirror match. I originally wanted to side in Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spells, but I had no space of what to take out or what to put in for the Curse Seals in terms of games 2 and 3. The main issue is the mirror. Any given time where Engage is going to activate, or even one of them striker spells or whatever, or any spell, you can just pretty much chain the Curse Seal, and it's pretty much a wrap for the mirror match. And with that being said, that's James Polk speaking, 3rd/4th place finish with Sky Strikers. Be sure to give it a like, comment, subscribe, and share. And everyone enjoy the rest of the week.